Okay, this is going to be a quick solve of Bim Bada Boom. This is an Excel case that's kind of about fireworks, I guess. We have this map here. These red cells are kind of bombs, I guess, and they will explode with a certain radius. The radius is given here, and I think this is a really good showcase of a lot of my map lambdas. So let's call this bomb, let's call this radius, and then let's label those up. And then let's call our map MP for map. And let's go. How many coordinates containing bombs are there on the map? It's essentially just all of these, 500. When I first did this, I did actually want to check that they're on there because you don't always know that all of these are in the map. So to do that originally, I did regex test from the map and B. So it doesn't have a B in front of it. And then if I do a minus minus, you'll see all the bombs have a 1, all of those that don't have a 0, so you can sum those up, and we get 500. So yeah, I did both, and then it kind of annoyed me that it's just all of them. Okay, what is the sum of the numeric values shown on the map sheet? We can just say sum of map, because that will ignore any letters. Then we have this go image, and it asks how many RGB colours are in it. So you kind of need VBA for this one. I have a macro that overlays a color code, so it's here, overlay color code, and if I zoom in now, you'll see that each of these cells actually has a RGB value for the cell color. Let's zoom in a bit, and up here I can say rows of unique of 2 col, all of this stuff, comma 3, and that will tell me how many there are. Quite a lot of colors. Okay, what is the sum of the row numbers of the bombs specified in level 3? So I can actually do kind of a lambda here called find in map. So I can specify an item and look for it in a place, so in a map, and it'll tell me in which cell it's in. So I can say row num of find in map and then everything in level 3, which is here. So find those, this works on arrays, find those in the map, and I want to sum them up. So sum up the row numbers of where those things are in the map. So bonus 5, if all bombs were to explode, what is the sum of the numbers that are not covered by the bombs in the map? So I have a very cool lambda. This is a great showcase here that's called blockout map. So I can say blockout map, I can give it a map, and I can say what my blocks table is, which has to be in exactly this format. But let's just pick one with a big radius for now. So let's pick those two things, B001 with a radius of 6. And what you'll see if I come down here, that bomb, which is this one, B01, will get covered with a square radius of 6 by 6 from the center. So we take the center and it jumps out 6 cells in every direction, like so. And then I also have an option to fill it with a certain character, so I could say fill with an X instead. Then I have a custom distance function. So this is always going to be a lambda, so lambda A, B. And the way this blockout map lambda works is that the arguments of this lambda, the two inputs, A and B, will represent the cell from and the cell to. So I can do anything with those. So I could say, what's the row number of A minus the row number of B, and so on. Or I could use one of my other lambdas. So I have a distance function that takes a start cell and an end cell. So I could say take start cell of A and an end cell of B, and I already have a Pythagorean formula built into that. So what that will do is it will kind of turn that into a circle, if you like, because it's working off Pythagorean distance from the start instead. The reason I've set it up so custom is so I can do any kind of function I want to determine the distance. And of course I can take a whole blocker table, so I can take this whole thing instead of just like one area. So now you'll see like the whole map sort of gets covered. So let's do conditional formatting, cells that contain X. That's kind of all of the bombs going off, and then we have the blank areas. So I can say if that is a blank, do the map, otherwise do 0. Let's just change the format slightly. So yeah, this is all of our little sparse areas that are unaffected. We can sum those up. I know I'm running this blockout map lambda a lot of times here, but at least it's quick. I did have to change it for this after I originally did this case because it was too slow, so I made some amendments to make it quick. But yeah, that's that. Now into the case, which is obviously a lot easier. Determine the radius of each of these. This is XLOOKUP. These in bomb give us the radius. Then we want to know on what coordinates they are located, so we can find and map this in our map. So I've shown that lambda already. Then we want to know what column they are located in, so it's the same thing, but we just wrap it in col num. Level 4, what's the distance? Let's say find in map these two things in our map, and then let's say 2 row. And we can say distance, which is a function I have that takes in a start and an end, and then a type of distance, so I can say diagonals are allowed or not, and so on. Like so. Pythagorean's pretty common, so it's built in there automatically. Okay, level 5, we're taking a bomb and then finding which other bomb is closest to it, because in a chain reaction that's what would explode first. So I have many kind of lambdas to do this type of stuff, but let's just find out what cell address it's in, so F27. So one of the lambdas I have is like RC refs within range, so I can say here's a start and my range is 4, and it will tell me all of the RC notation cell addresses that are within 4 steps of that. And again, I have my distance function to specify more custom distances. This 4 is going to be just whatever the radius is here. But even if I do that, I know what's in range, but if there's multiple bombs in range, I don't know which one's closest. So this is quick and runs fast, and my blockout map lambda actually runs off this underneath. But a better way is to use my closest on map lambda, so I can say closest on map, here's my start, and my number of steps is going to be x lookup this in the bombs, give me the radius. So that will tell me what's closest on the map, but we need, again, a special type of distance, which is a diagonal distance. So of course I have my distance function, so let's say lambda a, b, and then it's going to be distance a, b, and Pythagorean. So now I get a Pythagorean distance, so these are all the distances in Pythagorean terms, and this lambda automatically orders things. I want to get rid of anything that's not a bomb here. So I can specify a certain item in here that I want to look for, or I can specify a load of items. So I want to only look for these things, the bombs. So here's all the bombs that are within range of that, and I just need to pick the closest one, which is going to be the second one down, because obviously the top one is 0 steps away. So I can say index that, and I want the second row, first column. Some bombs will not have anything near them, like this one, so I'm going to say if error, safe, if error, do safe. And that is level 5. Okay, level 6, we want to find all of the bombs that explode, but it's in a chain. So I can no longer do this like closest on map thing to find what's within range of that, because I then need to do it again and again and again on those, because there's a big chain reaction. So whenever you have a chain reaction like this, the method is basically find a bomb, find everywhere it goes, and then find those bombs in here and find everywhere it goes. So you're kind of doing a layering of filters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my kind of closest on map thing here. So let's just put that into here, like so. So I'm just going to delete some of this stuff out and the indexing. So I'll say closest on map, and the cell is going to be find in map this in the map. This x lookup I don't need because it's already here, so I want that radius. It needs to be find in map, and there we go, we get our table. So let's just take the first one, first column, so take first column, and if I 2 row it, then I get everything that bomb 001 connects to. So let's drag that down, and then I get all of my locations. So the idea with this kind of stepping between things in a chain is you look for your bomb, you find everything it goes to, and then you look for all of those bombs in here and find everything it goes to, and you kind of do this whole filtering method. So I'm going to actually unpivot this to make it slightly easier. So yeah, there's a lot of lambdas here. So here's the bombs, that's the columns I want to keep, and here's all my places it goes to, so that's what I want to unpivot. And what unpivot will do is it will give me the first bomb and then everywhere it goes to. So you see here I get bomb 1 and then all of these things here. Obviously I have some zeros, so I have an argument in here to say ignore blanks. I want to ignore the blanks, and I'll have a kind of network map of everywhere I can come from and everywhere I can go to. And then this stepping between things comes up quite often. So I have a network traversal lambda that takes a start, so it's here, and an origin destination table, which is here, and it will tell me everywhere I can get to. So these are all the places I can get to. It tells me how many steps and what the distance is. This has a lot more arguments because there's a lot more complicated things I can do traversing this like a network. So it might be looking at the optimal train routes to somewhere when there's crossovers, and so on and so on. Anyway, I can basically say rows of that -1, and that's going to tell me the places I can get to. I just need to lock my networks table there, and then if I drag that down, it should tell me all the nodes I can get to. Some of them actually don't go to anywhere. Those are like the safe bombs that don't have any connections. Okay, level 7 is taking that whole chain and then looking at everything that explodes, and then adding up all the numbers that get demolished in the explosion on this map. So similar idea to level 6, let's take our network chain, but let's get rid of the rows part. And this is all the places we can go. So let's just take the first column, so take the first column, and then I want to say, let's nodes be that, and let's say radius, rad be xlookup nodes in bomb give radius, and let's say hstack nodes and radius. So I have a table of everywhere I can get to from this bomb. And now I can use a very similar idea from bonus 5, because this is like the format that my blockout map lambda needs. So I can say blockout map, the map, that's my blockers table, and let's fill with an x. We have a specialized distance, which is Pythagorean, so let's put that in, AB distance, AB and Pythag. A lot of lambdas going on here, and then I get my map. So I'm just going to format this to show you what that's done underneath. Let's say format painter case, here we go. So here's the map, and here's down here the kind of radius that all these bombs hit. So you can sort of see the chain reaction happening here. You get this central one that takes up a lot of space. It clips this one, which gives you a radius there, clips this one, and so on. So now that I have my map, I can just say if, you know, that area equals x, i.e. it's been hit by a bomb, and give us the map, otherwise give us 0. And then that will mean they've turned into numbers down there, like so. So we can just add them all up. I'm quite a visual learner and solver, hence the reason my lambdas are set up like this, I guess. So I can just say sum of that stuff, and if all goes well, we should get the answer there. So let's pull that down. There's all of our answers. And there you go, that's a full solve. Extremely lambda heavy, but I wanted to show, kind of show off what I've built, because it's took a long time to build all this stuff over the last 2 years. And this is a perfect case that kind of brings it all together. So thank you, see you next time.